finding your purpose in executing it. Like finding your purpose, walking in your purpose, and sharing your passion with other people. So you can be successful, and like I know that my purpose is to share women's stories. And then I think that I have found a certain level of success because those stories resonate with people.
Hello and welcome to Voices for Impact. My name is Danielle Mensing, founder of Voices for Impact, and today I am chatting with Arielle Chambers. Ari is a multimedia journalist, model, and host living in New York City. She has walked the runway for many designers and celebrities. She's also been seen in various fashion magazines, such as Cosmopolitan and Vogue Italia, and has shot for major fitness brands like Foot Locker and Adidas. Ari is a reporter for the WNBA and NCAA women's basketball. As a former professional cheerleader, she noticed a discrepancy in visibility of the WNBA, and she realized the immediate impact she could have on the league when she conducted her own interviews and posted them online. She most recently became a journalist for the Bleacher Report, and with a mission advocating for women's empowerment, Ari utilizes her sports background paired with principles of teamwork to empower women, dive into what it means to be empowered, and discuss the value of execution based on knowing one's self-worth. So Ari, thank you so much for talking with me today.
Run down that bio.
It's a long one and it's a good one. I wanted to make sure to tell everybody what you're all about. So tell me a little bit about what makes you passionate about women's sports and specifically women's basketball.
Well, like I'm a woman, so obviously I see the discrepancies in coverage, and I see that we have so many stories that deserve to be told, and they just aren't, because people just don't think that they'll either get enough clicks, or they think that people don't care about them, but they do. And so I've always made it my mission to just continue to tell those stories, and through that create representation for like younger girls who just want to play sports or want to get involved in some way and just never thought that they could. So that's like where my driving force is behind that. But it all started when I was younger. I tell everybody this, from Raleigh, North Carolina, Kayal, she was the head women's basketball coach at North Carolina State University, and we used to take field trips there, and I would see the NC State women's basketball team. And I would see how much they were so nice to me. They were just so generous with their time, and they would sign my player cards. I had my player cards like up on the wall. It was very adorable. My favorite one was Kristen Green. She didn't even finish out her eligibility, but she was so nice to me. And we're actually still in touch. It's funny, we reconnected through the years. But just knowing how much of an impact they had on me, I felt like it was my job, my responsibility to reflect that in my work, and know that because these players are underserved in their storytelling, that like I can be that middleman to help them tell the stories, showcase them in a different light, and in a more frequent light, in order to have them impact other little girls around the world.
What is one moment that you've had with a woman athlete that is impactful or funny that you could talk to us about?
I grew up watching the WNBA, so I would say my best encounter with one of my childhood like legends was when I met Sheryl Swoops in person for the first time, and she actually knew who I was. So that was like a really, really cool moment, and she just basically told me to keep doing what I'm doing. And then I just, from covering the sport, we're such a tight-knit community anyway, so just meeting these legends and then making them human, like having them be so human to me, has been just such a joy. Like Dawn Staley tweeted at me the other day. I kind of got into it with Twitter, and just fighting for just being like credible, for people to view me credibly. Right. She was just like, "You're good over here. We love watching your journey. We love watching you grow." And that's Dawn freaking Staley. I'm from North Carolina. Charlotte's saying hello. Like, that's crazy to me. And then she's like a Carolina legend in general. So that was dope. And then my first time meeting Lisa Leslie, I think 3 years ago, when I was interviewing her, and time just escaped us, and we just talked for hours about church and shopping and things that had nothing to do with basketball. But just having that human side of all these legends has been just a great experience.
I love that. Now, you've also interviewed Snoop Dogg, Ashley Harris, and Candace Parker. What were there any funny moments or impactful, inspiring moments that you got
Mhm.
out of those interviews with a high-profile individual?
So Snoop Dogg came into the office with a boombox on his shoulder, like literally. So our office is like a big office building, right? We're on the second floor, so he didn't have to go far. Went up to the second floor, crip walked through the lobby area, blasted music, and everybody was like typing on the computer. Then we looked around and we're like, Uncle Snoop. And so I just knew the vibes were going to be right for our interview. So it just set it off like that. I mean, he was crip walking through the office. I thought that was popping. I was like, yes, Snoop, do your thing.
Yes.
Um, when I did Ashlyn Harris and Ali Krieger, I knew nothing about soccer back then. Like I still am learning about soccer, but they were just so dope, so open, so ready to talk, and they were cool. We were like, we're gonna have a slumber party later. Like it was just that personability. Like I freaking love them. I think the soccer team is so cool. Like the U.S. soccer team is so cool. U.S. women's national team is really cool. I actually like was on the float with them during their celebratory parade. I don't ask me how. I just literally walked on it. Don't tell anybody.
You got
But they were a ton of fun. Really, really drunk. Loved every second. And then Candace Parker, she's one of my good friends, so I always love talking to her. Whenever we have interviews, it's always fun because I we have an understanding where I could just like joke on her, where a lot of other people don't have the bravery or boldness to do because I can be like, you ain't nothing, whatever. And she'd be like, that's just Ari. So I love talking to Candace, and she's Turner fam. So like we're under the same umbrella of like talent. So it's whenever like her and Kristen Ledlow, we just go in the green room and we just chat it up for hours, and it's just really, really fun. And then it's like a sisterhood.
Do you think a year ago or 5 years ago you'd be at this point? What would your younger self say if she could have seen the future of where you are now?
Oh, absolutely not. I had no idea what I was doing. My mom, it's funny, nobody in my family knew what I was doing in New York, but they were like, okay, this is just our daughter. She's going to do things the way she wants. And I've always done things exactly how I wanted. Like, I didn't care if it made sense or not. I just knew that I wanted to tell the player stories, right? So I didn't know where it would take me. I could have never fathomed, even like, I want to say February of last year, I was visiting Christina Tapper in Bleacher Report, and I was like, oh my God, this office is so cool. This was February of last year. And I was like, this office is so cool. I mean, we have a basketball court in the office. We have multiple studios. We have rosé on tap. So I was just like, man, I would kill for like a job like this. 2 kitchens, come on, never have to
Oh
buy
my
breakfast.
gosh.
And I was just like taking pictures, like because there's so many Instagrammable moments because hello content. And then I revisited Meredith Minkow in April, and then got offered a job that I, didn't really apply to 2 weeks later. So that was insane to me. It's funny because the time and the place can just align with you. And then
Right.
Bleacher saw something in me. They found me online, so they saw something in me that I didn't even know they were checking for. So to answer your question, absolutely not. I would have never imagined that I would be at this great, like the number one sports media company like that, and for them to let me do things my way, I just think that's just incredibly dope.
So tell me, what do you think is that skill or characteristic about yourself that's helped you to achieve your goals up until this point?
I'm completely me always. So you always know that you're gonna get 100% raw Ari. Like I love soy lattes and being barefoot, and that's how I am 100% of the time. In the office, they cringe. Like my talent manager Heather, she's so funny because she's like, "All right, put shoes on," but I'm like, "This is me," and I think that that's what a lot of people are afraid of. They're afraid to be themselves. I think a lot of reporters learn a way in school that they think is the way to do things. And I just threw all that out the window
Hmm.
and just did it my way. And because I did it my way, it was a place that hadn't been touched yet.
Yeah.
So instead of going to a company and being like, can you please hire me? It's like they see something in me that nobody else has because I have the audacity to deliver things the way I do. Well, I went on live with Tasha Cloud, and obviously there's a whole bunch of racial injustice, and it's Pride Month, and so we talked about how she's biracial and bisexual. I think a lot of reporters would have kind of steered clear of the sexuality at bare minimum, and and we tackle that. She was like, sis, if I see a fine man on the street, he fine. If I see a fine woman on the street, she fine. And I just think it's really funny because they feel comfortable enough to talk to me like that. And I think that like I have the relatability factor because I don't judge anybody. I don't try to push an agenda. Whenever I talk to athletes, it's from a very genuine standpoint. So that's where I think that I hit a sweet spot, just relatability and rawness.
Yeah, and being a genuine person.
Yeah.
Which is good. Some people aren't genuine. Most people aren't genuine.
You'll realize that the genuine people in the industry go farther. A lot of people that try to cut other people down don't make it far. And if you work off passion, you know, you're gonna do it in a way that it's like you won't burn out, because if you truly love it, you'll still be in it. You'll still want to do it no matter when times get hard, because it would be stupid to think that this was all easy, you know, that we don't talk about the years where I was paying out of my pocket $5,000 to cover a league that's underserved, where I don't even get basic levels of respect. Like these are things that we don't even talk about, but like, if you love it enough, it will return the love in some way.
Yeah. Now, tell me, what resources have helped you on your journey to get to where you are?
Humans. It helps that I grew up with some of the players, so it helps that they've like given me access to themselves in a way that a lot of other reporters don't have, because I've known some of these players for over a decade. And it also helps that I was a writer, because covering NCAA, a lot of them, like, first you get your credibility up from writing, so you have to know the game, you have to study the game. And then, like, say Asia Wilson, right? I've been covering her since she was in college, so when she got to the league, it was a familiar face. So it's just a matter of sticking with these players, writing for them since they were 18 years old or before, and being able to translate that. And then also my mentors, I've had great women and men surrounding me. I've been lucky enough to have some dope bosses like Howard Magdal and Doug Bernstein. I've been lucky enough to have dope, powerful women around me as mentors. LaChina Robinson, Roz is like my big sister. Ebony K. Williams, who just got her own show on Revolt. This is like multiple shows on Revolt, but like now it's her own. So she's been really dope, and she's from North Carolina too. So that's just like my little queen.
Represent North Carolinians
all
right
day.
here.
919 all day.
919.
She went to UNC, I went to NC State, but I don't hold it against her. But yeah. So people have made my life a lot easier.
What do you think? What is the most common reason for people failing or giving up on their dreams?
I just think that a lot of times people don't realize how much work there needs to be like invested in order to get a return. They go on with the expectation because you see your favorite personalities on Instagram and you see it look easy. It's not easy at all. It takes a certain type of person to enter into an oversaturated industry and stand out and have longevity in it. So people's biggest mistake is thinking that it's easier than it is. You have to know the game, whatever you cover. You have to know your beat. You have to know how to write. You have to know how to, like, I can't stress writing enough, because that's the root of everything. Even if you're in content, you have to know how to write captions. You have to know how to program. You have to know how to edit. Have to know how to speak to people. There's a whole bunch of different little skill sets that go into this. So people just aren't prepared for that. Be a sponge, be a student, keep learning, and listen to your audience. A lot of arrogance is surrounded by like on-camera talent and people who are journalists. They have a sense of arrogance about them that they don't want to listen to what people are saying because they have an agenda to push, right? Mm-hmm. So if you get rid of that agenda, if you get rid of that ego and just really consume like the opinions of people once you put out content, and then if you like pay attention to which voice resonates with the audience more, you'll be better off.
What projects or things do you have in the works as far as your career going forward?
Oh, so I have a project next week that's releasing with volleyball players that I'm really excited about, because I played volleyball. So it was like, yeah, I didn't play basketball. A lot of people think that I did because I'm 6 feet tall and athletic, but no, I was I played volleyball and I cheered. So for me to be able to, I did a game with them. I'll share this with you. It was called Pass Set Hit Block, and it was like it was all themed, and it's just gonna come out, and you're gonna be happy about it. I'm really excited about that. I want to pitch to my GM. I want to cover the cheerleading world, and whether that be like vlogging through it, like actually joining an open team and like going back to competitive cheer and competing in it, or if that's just like, going there and just like doing a, hey, I'm here kind of thing. I think that the cheerleading worlds are something that people just overlook, but people don't realize that more people go to worlds than the Super Bowl.
Wow.
So it's just a really, really undertold story if you're not in that cheer cult. So that's something I want to do, but ultimately, hopefully, we'll get a premium content piece with the women, the female athletes, that I can just have a recurring like talk show. So personally, I'm Ari Ivory on every social network. So that's ARIIVORY. My Twitter's popping. That's like where I thrive. But as far as my work, where I post the interviews and things like that, it's Highlight Her. It's kind of like Highlighter, but Highlight Her on Instagram. And we're a direct affiliate of House of Highlights. So that's like we're their little sub brand of House of Highlights. And so I try to cover everything with viral moments, different interviews, playlists, just things that showcase women doing dope-ish.
Love it. I love how you empower women in sports and outside of sports. I think that's just amazing. And thank you for all the work that you're doing to do that. And my last question is, how do you define success?
Finding your purpose in executing it, like finding your purpose, walking in your purpose, and sharing your passion with other people. So you can be successful, and like I know that my purpose is to share women's stories, and then I think that I have found a certain level of success because those stories resonate with people. So that's pretty much what I can do. And then giving back, like I think that it's important to share success with other people and offer success to other people. So I guess my definition is walking in your passion and spreading it, and then for furthering success, it's giving access to people.
Love it. Well, thank you so much, Ari, for coming on Voices for Impact today. I really appreciate you giving us some insight into what you do and some advice for people getting into journalism, or that just sneak peek inside your world. So thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Boo.
And check out Voices for Impact on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Please follow and stay connected, and I'll see you next time on Voices for Impact.